Why are all the horses in horse races named random things? There's a tradition of naming race horses after both of their parents. For instance, a friend of a friend was struggling to name a foal whose parents were something along the lines of Hot Rocket and Out to Lunch. The most obvious name combining these was Hot Lunch. They rejected that name, but they might not have. You can see how the names get ridiculous after a few generations. Horse racing is weird. Racehorse names must be under 18 letters and unique, and the owners also want the name to be memorable. And for marketing reasons, it's often desirable to name the horse after a famous parent. Also, they all share Jan 1 as a birthday. Someone made a rule that every single registered thoroughbred horse had to have a name that had never been used before ever, and for some reason everyone went along with this instead of saying that's dumb. We're not doing that. And 500,000 horses later, the results are predictable. Also, a lot of people like to give foals a combination of their mother's and father's names, which gets even sillier. Give the above. So now I have to ask OP, what do you think is an acceptable name for a horse? I think Big Brown or American Pharoah or Justify are cool names. You don't like the name Cheese Bucket? Hoof-Hearted will always be my favorite, right after Patu'u. The horse's name must be unique. It can only be so long, 18 letters or less, I believe. It's helpful in some cases to name the horse something related to one or both parents. For example, Western Symphony fathers a foal called Songline, then Songline breeds with Desert Sun and you get Sunline, so you get some weird ones. Just wait until you Google Patu'u. Horse names are like usernames, except the horse registries have been around a lot longer than the internet, so all of the simple names were taken ages ago. They are running out of possibilities. For real, there are 18 characters in a jockey club registration and your horse's name can't change after she wins a race. Hoof-Hearted was the best name. Because would it not be funny to see tuna salad with 30:1 odds completely crush the Kentucky Derby and win you boatloads of money? In all seriousness, if I bet on horses, I always bet on the one with the coolest name. I think about how thoroughbreds are named, but I grew up in the paint quarter horse world and the naming goes like this: Sire, Lucky Strike Dam, Daisy's Blue Orchard Foal, Lucky Blue Daisy, and the names just get crazier the farther the line goes. Lol. People usually like to somehow include the sire's name somewhere in the foal's name if the sire was especially noteworthy. Also, the quirkier the name, the more likely it will pass registration. Same reason you picked the username Sword Cancel instead of Ninja Warrior or whatever. Unique names run out and all the cool ones are already taken. I've always wanted horses to be named something that would embarrass a race announcer. Here comes my big fat mama around the corner. Jock, it looks a little rough. Jailbait is looking good today. Emma Wanker is slipping through. It's grab my throat by a neck. Racehorses are named by the same people who name boats and rock bands. It's also a little bit like usernames. Lol, if the name you want is already registered for some other horse you can't use that name, and we ran out of normal names fairly quickly. Norfolk and Chance will always be my favorite racehorse name. Calcification by nose. Bofa D's nuts rolling down the stretch.